Red, you're angry, aren't you? I can see it on you. It's all over you. You hate yourself. He's eating you up because you ain't done a damn thing about it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this non-spoiler review for Daredevil Born Again here on the Outlaw Nation. Thanks so much for clicking play on this video as I dive into my overall general thoughts, non-spoiler thoughts on the first few episodes of Daredevil Born Again. This one, of course, sees the return of Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock / Daredevil and Vincent D'Onofrio as Wilson Fisk / Kingpin. This is on Disney Plus now. And I'll say this, it's a two-hander. It's definitely exploring these two different storylines throughout the whole series of Wilson Fisk and Daredevil. Can they resist their darker sides as they try to be different people in their lives because of different situations? Echo shooting Kingpin and him going away for a while and how that affects his business. And when he wants to come back, he comes back wanting to be mayor of New York. So wanting to be a different type of person. Can he resist the lure back into being Kingpin? That is pretty much the storyline for him throughout the whole series. And for Matt Murdock, something happens really tragic to him as well. And it's about, okay, I walked away from this, but little things keep happening to drag me back into being Daredevil. So will he be born again as Daredevil? That's what's coursing through his storyline throughout the whole season. There are some fun Marvel connections throughout the series that I think really work. They're not shoved in. They're not manufactured. I'll point you to an episode that deals with a bank heist as one of the fun Marvel connections that they have in the show. Of course, you get Frank Castle back with Jon Bernthal here. It's a pretty dynamic scene between those two guys, Charlie Cox and Jon Bernthal, not losing their chemistry at all in their back and forth, and their dueling philosophies on the world, which I think is really cool. And speaking of dueling philosophies, I also think that there's a fantastic scene in the coffee shop there between Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk that I think is on par with what you got in Heat with Pacino and De Niro. Now, is it that kind of tense level of actors? No, but D'Onofrio and Cox are really good, and certainly there's a lot of tension between them as they kind of map out their feelings of where they're at in their relationship. There is stuff with Bullseye that comes in here that's pretty brutal and tense. Vanessa is in this here as a very strong part of the series as well, and her relationship with Fisk and the changing relationship dynamic that goes on there. We get Margarita Levieva. She comes in as a very strong character throughout the whole season. I thought she was fantastic. For those who don't know, she's Mother Coral in The Acolyte, but she is dynamite through the whole movie with a dynamic character that she brings out that really challenges the people around her. We do have the Muse storyline that courses throughout, and I should say this now with the Muse storyline. There is a lot of blood. There is a lot of death. There is a lot of gore throughout the whole season. There are body parts being dismembered or opened up. There's blood being taken out. There's some pretty brutal images. So if that stuff kind of messes with you, just go in as a warning that they don't pull back on that stuff. And it's pretty brutal. The action sequences are so much fun. The fight sequences are so well choreographed. You get that hallway sequence like in the opening of this particular review. I took a clip out of that trailer and showed you. That's a pretty awesome fight sequence with him and Bullseye. But there are more fight sequences throughout the season that are really fun to see throughout. And do I think this is a great series? No, I do think it's a good series. It's not a great series. And I do think the issues lie with some of the underdeveloped characters. For example, his partner in a law firm, Kirsten, she's not developed quite as strongly as you would like. There are other characters here like Michael Gandolfini's Daniel. Now, I don't know if maybe I have an issue with Michael Gandolfini as an actor, or maybe the character itself isn't that well written. But I found him to be annoying throughout the series. And not because of the character he's playing, but more a matter of like what they're having him do and the believability of what he gets to do. And that leads to some of the other issues I had with the series overall, which kept it from being great. There are just too many plot conveniences that allow us to get to certain plot points that get a little frustrating for me. But the problem is I like the plot points we get to. It's just the way that we get to them isn't really that as strong as I would like. and there are certain things that happen. You're like, well, why would that person do that? Or why wouldn't that person take advantage of a situation right there? It's pretty obvious that they could, but clearly they can't because it's in the script for them not to, so they can get to this particular plot point. So those are a little glaring when you watch the series throughout. And I would say another issue, and some of you are going to get mad that I bring this up, but I think Disney has been doing this way too many times in all of their series and all of their shows. They bring up a social commentary, but then never really revisit it again. There's corrupt cops here, and it's making a commentary clearly how corrupt the police can be, but they don't really explore it as deeply as they need to. They bring up the incarceration, the unfair incarceration of the numbers of black men that are unfairly incarcerated for like really minor offenses. They touch on it and have a really interesting back and forth with a really damn good actor playing the character that he plays, but they don't really go back to it. So there's these kinds of things that just frustrates me. Don't bring it up if you're not going to explore it. Like, it's nice that you touch base with it, but don't bring it up if you're not going to explore it. So that got a little bit frustrating for me. I thought the first episode was a little wonky, and the way they rushed to certain stuff to establish the foundation of the series they want to tell, I just didn't like that. It felt a little rushed, but the second episode really settles in. And I think once it makes the turn after the fifth episode, the series really picks up steam and delivers some oomph. Whereas the third and fourth episode, a little struggling to get to where they needed to get to. But it does deliver. It is a good series. It's a very watchable series. I just wanted it to be great, and I don't think it's quite great. I would put it, if we're adding it, like Vincent D'Onofrio said, as the fourth season of Daredevil, then I would put this as third below the first and second season, but above the third season. So it would be third in the ranking of the 4 seasons, in my opinion. But the acting here is really good. The fight sequences, as I said, are really good. I think the direction throughout is really good. I know Dario Scardapane took over here to showrun this particular series, and I think he does a good job showrunning this thing, getting us to where we need to be. I also think the directors here, as I said, throughout do a really nice job. The writers, for the most part, do some really good work here in terms of the interactions with these characters. Let me know what you thought about it initially down in the comments section below. Give me your likes and dislikes about it and where you think it's going. I'd be curious to see with that overall. All right, thanks so much for watching this review. Appreciate it badly. Of course, we'll do spoiler reviews on the Geek Buddies, and I will do my reactions to each of the episodes. That'll be up on the channel as well for you all to enjoy. All right, take care of yourselves. Be well. We'll talk to you next time with another brand new video here on the Outlaw Nation. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more content from the Outlaw Nation.